I moved 600 miles away to escape the drugs that ruined my daughter's life. Now she wants to follow me. But can I risk it? First story. A 4-year journey. OP adopting their granddaughters. I have so much to learn about the process. I have been fostering the girls for 2 years, since August. Neither parent can stay off the drugs. They both signed papers so we could adopt them. I guess I was wondering if anyone could tell me about the whole process and what to expect. Comments. Mördertvägkike. Give those kids a future. They deserve it. OP. Entry update. The adoption of my granddaughters, 11 months later, our adoptions are almost complete. For background, we have had custody of my 2 granddaughters, ages 6 and 3, for 3 years now. We have had them since the youngest was 6 weeks old. My daughter enjoys drugs too much to be a mother and hasn't put forth any effort to get them back. Lawyers asked if I wanted a final hearing or not, and since I said it wasn't necessary, they said it shouldn't take long to be finalized. All paperwork has been turned into the caseworker and lawyer, so we are on the homestead. I am just so excited I had to share. Update. Adoption was final on September 18th. After 3 long years of biological parents not trying, the adoption went through for my granddaughters. So at 44 years old, I now have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. I keep telling them they are mine forever now with the evil witch cackle. Comments. Cage congrats old mom from an old dad. At the age of 44, I share lodging with twin 3.5-year-olds. I figure I'll be dropping them off for university and retiring the next day. But I'm having so much fun it doesn't even faze me. OP. Thank you so much everybody. The only thing I really have a problem with is lack of sleep. I miss you. It's so much harder in your 40s than in your 20s. Update. Adoption of granddaughters. 14 months later. My daughter liked drugs. She had 2 girls. They were put in the system, and I have had them since the 4-year-old was 6 weeks old. After 3 years, I adopted them. I get compliments all the time like this is something extraordinary. I do not pat myself on the back for this. This is not special. These girls are part of my family and will not go to strangers. And this is something that happens a lot. Grandparents raising grandkids has been happening for a long time. I don't feel like I am better than anyone else. If anything, I am worse because I raised their mother and she turned to drugs. As soon as the adoption was done, I moved 600 miles away to a small town with less access to drugs. I hate the compliments. I feel like a fraud. Thanks for reading. Comments. Nuclephine. You may feel this is what you should be doing, and therefore deserve no praise. But raising grandkids is not an easy feat, and it still makes you a good person to be doing so. And don't feel guilty for your daughter. Parents can do everything right, and people will still turn to drugs. That was her choice, not yours. That being said, as someone from a small town knows, drugs run rampant in small towns, usually due to a lack of anything else to do, just food for thought. Update. My daughter, 4 months later. My daughter has been addicted to meth and heroin for at least 6 years. I have adopted her 2 girls. I moved 500 miles away to get away from the drugs. Now she is in a health crisis and wants to come home to me. On one hand, I miss her with everything in me. On the other hand, I dread the drama that is bound to follow. I have had the girls since the youngest was 6 weeks old. She turns 5 in July. She does not even know her biological mother. While I want her to come and am so worried about her, I am also scared for the children, about blowing up their peaceful lives. It's hard to be the mom of a drug addict. Comments. Last secret. Nope. Tell her to check into a rehab. Revisit if she can stay clean for 90 days. End of story. Derps a lot sometimes. Well, all I can say is make it on your terms, not hers. Set clear black and white boundaries and stick to them. OP. I plan on it. I feel I need to try for her at least once. Everything must be checked before going into the house. I realize it's a hard road, but I am still her mom too. I quit giving money or gift cards long ago. She needed shampoo. I gave her shampoo. I'm really not that dumb. Gift cards can be traded for drugs too. Almost anything can. This is the first time she has said she is ready, so one chance. I don't have money or insurance for a long stay in rehab. I'm hoping that by removing her from her sources by 500 miles, it will make it very hard for her to get any. While I know drugs are everywhere, I moved to a very tiny town. I have been here for 2 years and have seen only 2 tweakers, and I worked at one of the 2 stores in town. Trust me, there will be no friends coming over. I think personally that methadone or Suboxone just keep the addiction going. I have never met anyone who used those to actually quit. I do know addicts who successfully quit, but not by using those. She got an abscess that turned into a blood clot, which gave her a blood infection that required surgery to insert tubes into her chest to drain the infection. Update to my daughter. 2 years later, I posted a while back about my daughter being addicted to drugs and my adopting her daughters. She had gotten really sick and wanted to come home to me. I just want to say that she was really sick and about to die. 3 tubes in her chest to drain the strep hospital for a month. I am so happy to tell you guys that she is clean. She lived with us for a year, got clean all the way, and now has a job, her first in her own apartment. While on the drugs, she was always a size 0. She is about 8 now. Her children know her now. Yes, they still live with me. Yes, she did have to hit rock bottom. Yes, she came close to dying. But I'm so glad I gave her that last chance. Comments Quizzy 13313. I went back to have a quick look at your posts, and I have to say you are an amazing human being for doing what you did. Sometimes people have to hit rock bottom before they'll accept help. I'm happy your daughter is 1 year clean. Second story, my husband hit me after I verbally abused his ex-nanny. I'm going to divorce him. Using a burner account. English is not my first language, so forgive me for any mistakes. I, 31F, have been with my husband Daniel, 34M, for 12 years, married for 6. We have a 4-year-old son. For the most part, he is a wonderful, loving man, and we've had problems in our relationship only due to his ex-nanny. Martha, 45F, used to babysit Daniel when she was 1921. Since his parents were both very busy lawyers, she was fired after she took Daniel out on a late-night walk and they got mugged. And my husband was also pretty badly injured. Even after that, he kept in touch with Martha and still calls her Ma. He is very protective of her. And even when we were friends, dating, engaged, or married, everyone told me to be on the good side of his ex-nanny, as she means a lot to him. So much so that he is still financially supporting her. Martha has a daughter, Stella, 27F, with an unknown man that she wanted to set up with Daniel and still does. Even when we first met, she would make subtle comparisons between the both of us, like how Stella has such pale, beautiful skin, and how I should get rid of my beach tan. How she knows that a true lady is for rearing her man's children, and not trying to compete with him by entering the workforce. You can tell I am not the biggest fan of Martha, even though I tried to like her or get her to like me. But her remark the first time we met made me instantly dislike her. She told me to stop smiling, that there was nothing funny about the situation, and to stop living in the delusion that my smile is pretty. Daniel said nothing at that. A week ago, Daniel and I got into a huge fight since he bought Martha and Stella another apartment and had them over while I was at work. I won't lie, I called his ex-nanny a W, doesn't even know the father of her child, and has birthed and raised another W at this. My calm husband instantly slapped me so hard that I was thrown to the floor. While I was still in shock, he began crying, hugging me, and apologizing repeatedly. He didn't leave me the whole night, so I packed my bags and left for my parents' home with our son. The next morning, he has been calling and coming over to my house repeatedly, apologizing and asking for another chance. I don't know what to do. My mom tells me I should talk to him since he seems pretty hurt. She doesn't know about the slap. Before this, he had never hit me and rarely raised his voice at me. Am I overreacting? Did I cross the line by insulting his mother figure? I don't want my son to grow up in a broken home due to an emotional decision. Comments Critic How Simple 3D 122. Don't go back to him. He not only hit you, but he hit you so hard that you fell over. And that's the start. Don't teach your son that this is okay. He bought another woman an apartment and didn't tell you about it. Don't teach your son that this is okay. You deserve better all around. Completed. It sounds like Martha groomed him. Something definitely went down between them. It is best to stay away from the mess that is your husband, Martha and Stella. Keep your child away from them as much as possible as well. There is too much there. Flowers in the attic vibe. Judgment. Nah, update 1 day later. I am a mess right now, so forgive any errors. My marriage is coming to an end. I told my parents that he hit me, and they were furious. They demanded that I immediately divorce him, and I am going to do just that. Today afternoon, I agreed to meet him in my parents' yard. He was still not getting it. He brought all kinds of presents, immediately hugged me as soon as I saw him, and offered to buy another apartment for our family. I told him that I'd leave him if he didn't cut off his nanny and her daughter. He began crying once again. It hurt me to see him cry, since he rarely ever does. He asked me not to make him choose since he loves me just as much as he loves them. And since I am the mother of his child, it wouldn't be fair to our son to grow up in different homes. He told me that he owes his ex-nanny and her daughter, because if it weren't for him, Martha would be happy. I was always skeptical why he cared about her so much, but he'd always say she saved him. This was the first time he said something like this. I pressed on and told him to tell me the truth, or we were over. He just said I wouldn't get it. I told him we were done. But then he wouldn't let me leave. He began saying that he would never sign the divorce papers and wouldn't let me go, no matter what I did. It was scary, so I immediately called for my mom and dad. He still wouldn't budge until my dad threatened him with his gun, and he gave me this weird look before he went away. I was honestly never this scared of him, and I had never seen this side of him before. He sounded mad that I was trying to leave him. I just want to get my divorce and live peacefully with my son. Edit. Stella is not Daniel's daughter. They look nothing alike. Moreover, Martha had Stella with a one-night stand, as it seems, because when I did ask Daniel about her father, he said he didn't know who he was. But it was a bastard who came one night, left, and ruined ma. Comments Orta Film 1962. Now frankly, all the Martha stuff doesn't matter. He hit you. He won't go away until your father gets a gun. You're scared of him. That's enough. And his threat that he won't let you go. That needs at least a restraining order. Hold fast too. This, yeah, the first post massively sounds like he's been either traumatized or manipulated by the nanny. Either way, it's not OP's problem, and he's proven he isn't safe to be around. She did the right thing there. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. And as always, thanks for watching.